Welcome to Tribe Talks on the Game. I'm Kevin Fielder, joined alongside Madison Elia and Ethan Jane. And do you ever feel like just nothing goes your way for a whole basketball game? Because that's how I felt on Sunday when UCF was playing Duke. They were down, I think, 8 points twice in the second half, and then the ball hangs on the rim for what seemed like an eternity, and then bounced out twice, and letting Duke win by a point, literally a point. Um, Regardless of that, we're here. March Madness going strong, I think is the easiest way to explain it. We're actually going to be doing a bracket live on this podcast right this second. Ethan, if you want to take lead of that.
Okay, so we're going to be starting at the Sweet 16. We're going to start with the East Division. So let's start with Duke versus Virginia Tech.
I almost want to choose Virginia Tech because I'm not a big fan of Duke, but the easiest answer in the world is Duke.
I don't think Virginia Tech.
Duke has the best player in college basketball. They have arguably the best player I've seen since LeBron came out in 03, and we're in 2019 now, and he's looking like he is literally an NBA player playing against like high schoolers. It's insane.
And now LSU versus Michigan State. I think Michigan State on this one.
We were actually talking about this earlier.
Michigan.
The New England Patriots of March Madness is the Michigan State Spartans with Tom Izzo. He's one of the best coaches in college basketball, and he's just the way that he can get his guys to play in March is insane. I think it's almost a guaranteed win for them.
All right, now for the West. Number one Gonzaga versus number 4 Florida State.
I think we all know who you're going to go with there.
Florida
so
State.
Nah.
It's Gonzaga. They've got the best
Yeah.
offense at any team in college basketball right now. And just the way that they play is how you want a college basketball team to play. They look just
The dynamic
disciplined.
between them. Yeah.
They look disciplined. They look like an actual college basketball team and not a whole bunch of people trying to play hero ball.
Now Texas Tech versus Michigan. I think Michigan on this one, especially how they've been playing.
Michigan's been insane so far. So has Texas Tech, but I just think Michigan has more experience. They have more talent, and they have the better coach, which is really all you need when it comes to March.
Now let's start with the South. Virginia versus Oregon.
Well, sadly, Virginia didn't get upset by another 16 seed, so
Oregon.
I think we're all a little sad about that one. But honestly, let's go Oregon. I think their offense is just a little better. They're playing with a little more intensity than what I've seen out of Virginia so far. And honestly, I just don't want to see Virginia go far.
And Virginia did get upset by Florida State in the ACC championship.
Virginia just can't score. Virginia just can't score.
All right, now Purdue versus Tennessee.
I don't know.
I think Purdue's been strong this tournament. I actually might.
Purdue's looked really good so far, and the biggest thing with them is that they have an actual clear-cut scorer. Carson Edwards leads the team in scoring, and believe he scored something like 42 points against Villanova. He was just unstoppable, and he's looked unstoppable all tournament. I'm going to go Purdue because I don't know if they really have a stop for what.
And looking back at their scores in the past few games for March Madness, they've really separated themselves from the other team, unlike Tennessee, who's had a couple close games in March Madness so far.
Tennessee actually allowed a 25-point comeback to Iowa. Don't let the score deceive you. They were up 25 points and then blew it. So,
Now for the Midwest, North Carolina, Auburn. I think this one's easy for North Carolina.
Here, in fact, let me write it. We're gonna go U.
North Carolina.
We're gonna go N, and then we're gonna put a C at the end because they're the best team in college basketball right now.
And for the last one, for the Sweet 16, Houston versus Kentucky.
I like Houston. Or Kentucky.
But
Kentucky.
you have the past winner. Wasn't it Kentucky that had won before?
Kentucky's won a few times in the last,
they had
10 years.
The past couple.
They produced NBA talent completely.
But can they hold it up this time? Is the question.
I'm going to go...
I'd say Kentucky just for...
And they both had strong showings so far.
Just because.
Houston's impressed me. I thought they were going to go out a lot quicker, but...
Yeah.
I think it's got to be
I think
Kentucky.
it's Kentucky.
All right, it's my gut.
My gut's telling me Kentucky. My brain's telling me Kentucky. So in that case, it's Kentucky.
All right, now we're down to the Elite Eight. Now we have Duke versus Michigan State.
Oh man.
Ooh.
Now we're getting a little tougher here.
Now-
Now we're really
I
doing a
s-
guessing game.
For seeing how UCF played against Duke, I think Michigan State, especially with how high of a seed they are, I think they had the potential to pull
I
off an
think-
upset against Duke.
I wouldn't even call it an upset at this point because Michigan State has just everything you want out of a college basketball team. They've got experience. They've got tons of experience. They've got decent enough shooting. They don't really have a clear number one scorer like Duke has. I mean, Zion Williamson. There's not enough good things I can say about the guy.
What, Zion's gonna carry the whole Duke team? You can't rely on
He,
one guy.
he almost carried them against the UCF. I mean, and I just think the way that he plays is insane. But I think UCF exposed the biggest weakness with Duke, which is their inability to shoot the three effectively. I mean, they struggled all game against the three, or while shooting the three. And honestly, at points, UCF was daring them to shoot a three. And I think if you can get them to where they're not shooting well enough, that you can beat them. And I think Michigan State has the perfect game plan to beat them.
So we should go with Michigan State.
Yes, because I also just don't like Duke.
Because
So-
Kevin just spilled out a whole explanation about it. What you mean?
And I also just don't like Duke.
He did.
All right, now for the West.
Ooh. Gonzaga, Michigan. Michigan's the more old blood of colleges. I guess if we're going to do it any other way, old money versus new money, Michigan is old money in every way. They've been dominant since seems like the 80s now. Gonzaga's just kind of really starting to pick up that pace. Last year they were good. This year they're even better. I think they have really good scoring. I really like guys like Rui Hashimura. They've got decent big men, and honestly, they just score really well.
Half and half. It'll come to the line at that one.
But Michigan's just really good.
Michigan's been strong.
Michigan's been strong all season.
I think
and
it'll be a good.
Michigan
matchup.
made the Big Ten final, lost to Michigan State. I'm gonna go Gonzaga, reluctantly.
Give the underdogs a
Just
chance.
very reluctantly, though.
All right, now we have for the South, Oregon and Purdue. I'm gonna have to go Purdue on this one.
Purdue's really good. Purdue is so good.
I don't think Oregon's going to be a full. Or able
And
to
in
pull
fact,
an upset.
let me just take this last one. UNC, Kentucky. Okay, UNC, thank you.
Nah.
Any other questions?
Tar Heels.
Now for the Final Four, Michigan State, Gonzaga.
State. I like State this year. I had him in, I think, 2 of my brackets.
Kevin's going all the way with Michigan, man.
I mean,
He's
I
he's
can't
putting
even call
all-
my expert, be an expert at this
You're putting
point.
all your
'cause
bets in.
I got
for
like 10 Sweet 16 teams right, and I'm pretty sure I had like UC Irvine going to the Sweet
that.
16.
I'd like to see that other team come through.
Purdue, UNC.
All right, let me just take this one, by the way. UNC, thank you.
When I think of I always think Michael.
And now for the
Michael
national
Jordan.
championship against Michigan State and UNC.
Can I choose UCF or is that too late? Damn.
Kevin's going to UNC again.
see Florida State in there.
Yeah, no.
That's the funniest thing you've said all year. That is honestly the funniest thing you've said all year. I just really want you to know that that's the funniest thing you've said all year.
To be continued on that final choice.
I think UNC is the best team in college basketball, and I've said that a few times now. I think they're just the way that they can score. They've got guys who can score at every position. They can have guys who can guard every position. But man, it's just so tough to choose against Michigan State.
I'd like to see that matchup. I'd like
What
to
conference is
That would be
UNC
really-
in?
UNC's in the ACC.
Who did they lose to?
They lost to Duke in the tournament because that was when Zion returned. But
I
that's
think
just a really good matchup.
I think it'd go either way on that. If it'll be close, whatever it is.
I just think UNC has guys like Kobe White, who's just a really good scorer. He's honestly one of the best point guards I've seen in college basketball this season. I like Luke May, who was the hero 2 years ago now, to help them beat. Was it Villanova 2 years ago? I couldn't tell you. God, I feel old.
Maybe.
I feel old. They've got guys like Cameron Johnson, who's good, and just they've got Nazir Little off the bench is just someone you really want off the bench. But man, it's still Michigan State. I mean, we called them the New England Patriots in March Madness.
No, what's UNC then?
That's a good point.
If-
What,
if-
like you?
if-
They're like
Michigan,
Clemson.
if Michigan State's the what? We're going from NFL to college
Yeah,
football.
how can you go college football? What?
So,
If anything, they're like the Alabama.
so Michigan's like the Clemson and UNC's the Alabama. If we're going college football, if
Yeah,
we're going
yeah.
NFL, then you have
Like
what was it?
the Patriots against the Rams,
Oh God.
or like the Packers, who's been good for a few years now.
Oh no.
Or do you want to throw out like a college lacrosse answer now? Like what? They're like the James
Notre Dame.
Madison of,
Notre Dame's up there for lacrosse.
or what's it actually you're gonna pull?
I don't know. Let's do
College
golf.
baseball?
We have the
College baseball?
UNC, the Tiger Woods, and Michigan State being like a Rory,
Rory, or how about tennis? You know,
Serena Williams.
so we have Serena Williams against
Did Notre
Maria
Dame
Sharapova or whoever.
Did Notre Dame of women's college basketball?
Let us know. Comment what you
There we
think it
go.
is.
If anything, they'd be like the UConn of college basketball. But
Yeah.
what's the college softball comparison?
Florida State. Florida
Actually-
Oh man.
actually,
they got good players.
I feel like I chucked myself into that one. So
Anywho, all right.
what's the like food superlative for the what is like North Carolina
No,
like a very
all-
solid pizza,
Pizza.
but like
food.
Michigan State's just like a very solid steak.
I don't know, man.
New York.
You can't compare food. We're talking about food now. Come on, March Madness.
Chicago's the better pizza, but
madness is
that's a
getting
whole
to your
new
head.
podcast.
All right, so let's pick one. Michigan State or UNC? Madison? Which
Mm,
one?
I'm gonna go UNC.
Kevin?
Just
I'm gonna go Michigan State because
I'm gonna go Michigan
I
State.
want to be different.
yeah. I want to be different. I want to be different from you both. We'll see.
I just really want to talk about my my roller coaster of emotions following
Oh man.
Duke UCF. I need a grieving. I need like a really quick grieving session. So like, how does that ball stay out of the basket? Ethan, explain the physics behind this, please.
You ever seen that? You ever seen that? Is it Space Jam?
Yes.
It's one of those.
Just like
Space Jam. The little aliens are coming out of that room.
I just like it.
Yeah, it's
It just stayed there. It just stayed there.
word from Kevin.
It like I was watching it and I sat there and I was like, how does that not go in? Because it seemed like it stayed on the rim for a solid 12 seconds.
All right,
Yeah.
so that's all we have. The time we have today. We'll see you
Sadly.
next time on Tribe Talks. I'm Ethan Jane.
I'm Kevin Fielder.
I'm
Sorry, I
Madison
cut you
Elia.
off.
And let us know, what you think of your March Madness picks.
See you soon.
See you soon.
Deuces.